Hello, everybody, and good afternoon, and welcome to NAGA's first conversation with one of our traders. I would like to welcome you to Antonio, sitting in Portugal. My name is Jameel. I'm the Director of Investment Strategy at NAGA. And Antonio, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, thank you. So I understand that you're sitting in Portugal right now, right?
Yes, a little bit of sun here in the south.
I know, this is what I'm thinking. I was just saying to you offline that jealous of these beautiful blue skies that I've seen on your background the past 2 times we've spoken running.
I can't complain. It has been a very nice weather during these troubled times of having lockdown, so it's good to have this type of weather.
I hope as well, on behalf of NAGA, that your loved ones, your family, and everybody are safe during these, quite challenging and strange times for us all. But I hope your loved ones are well. Thank you once again for being with us today. So today we're going to just briefly introduce you, introduce how you know NAGA, and we're going to have just a casual conversation. So first thing, you're in Portugal, and I understand that you live very close to the beach.
Yes, that's true. Just a step away from the beach, 5 minutes, and in sunny coast of Portugal. I can't complain really where I live at the moment, so it's good to be here.
You have no idea how many of your viewers are going to watch this interview, including myself, who's asking the questions, and we are all remotely very jealous of this beautiful blue sky and lovely trees we see overshadowing you. Perfect placement for your camera. You've done very well.
Well, showing all the nature around us.
Exactly. Beautiful country. We must visit Portugal after this is all done.
For sure.
So, did you watch much of football over the weekend? Any of the football that was on?
Yeah, I've run my highs across some of the games. Yeah.
Okay, so which team do you support?
I'm a fan of Manchester United as well.
Oh, very good. Very good.
And also local teams like Benfica and some smaller teams like Estoril.
Okay. So I know Sporting Lisbon very well, of course, as a Manchester United fan. Bruno Fernandes is like a god to us, all Manchester United supporters right now. Obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo will be an icon forever, but we also appreciate the likes of Lindelof and all the other guys that we've signed from Portugal over the past couple of years.
Has been a good relationship between both.
I think we need to give you back a few more players potentially, because I think this is what's happened. Manchester United keep buying your players, and well, unfortunately, Manchester United are not doing very well, as you know from the league. But yeah. Bruno Fernandes, he is an icon. He will have a statue one day if he continues this run of form for Manchester.
It's good.
And I understand you're from South Africa originally as well.
Yes, I was born in South Africa, and there's a relationship between Mozambique and Portugal. So my parents moved to South Africa to have their university. They stayed there for quite a few years. They had me, and then we moved to Portugal back.
Okay, very cool. And so how did you find out about NAGA then?
NAGA was part of my own research in terms of trying to find stable and reliable brokers and platforms.
Okay.
For doing a little bit of Forex and stocks. And I was doing this through analyzing all the reviews that was on the internet, and the NAGA name just popped out in one of the reviews. I started to understand a little bit more the concept, because I understood from the beginning that NAGA was not only a platform, it was also there was also other things that interested me.
So this is how you heard about NAGA, and how long have you been with us for?
So I started to be actively present in NAGA from mid-August, more or less. I started my first deposit in mid-August. And from there on, I also got very interested in terms of the other functionality that NAGA is very strong in terms of the copy trading, and that has been since mid-August.
Okay, so are you a trader yourself, or are you a copier? Do you copy other traders?
I do both. I consider myself a beginner trader. So from the point of view of understanding and learning by copying others, also I do understand what they are doing. I have a big part of my portfolio allocated to copy trading. So that would actually be where my main wallet is copying other traders that are successfully. but that also gives me a little bit of understanding in terms of what they're doing and continue my learning so I can understand more in depth what is being done.
Thank you for that. You must also, you took me when you said you were a beginner trader. Did you know that if you go onto the NAGA feed, there's a lot of materials for beginner traders, and there's actually a newly formed education team that have only been operating now for the past couple of months. They are regularly doing webinars that could specifically suit those who are very new to this concept of trading. So if you haven't seen, please do take a look at the webinars. There's actually a number happening this week because these guys give fantastic content. They've all been there themselves, or they were learning how to trade. And sometimes because of that, it's very good if somebody is new to trading to start by looking at those kind of materials to understand everything that this type of investment involves.
For sure. I've been researching about webinars. I've been registered myself. This week I'm registering too, actually. In terms of specifics, I quite like that side of the education part because most of these experience that are shared take a long time to get on into a profitable, let's say, way for a trader. So it's very good to have also that included in part of the overall education of the platform. I quite like it.
I completely agree. So you made your first deposit with us back in August. I'm sure you were enjoying a beautiful summer in Portugal at the time. If this is what November looks like, I do not want to know what August looks like. But essentially, before then, how experienced were you as a trader?
So I started trading 3 years ago,
Okay.
mostly in terms of building up portfolios for long-term investing from stocks. And I started to do more or less swing trading for 1 year and 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
And that's following the crash and before the crash of the stock market with the COVID situation. So that's a big learning curve there. And from there on, I started to get more interested in Forex, where NAGA is also very strong. And I've been doing a little bit more learning in terms of Forex for the past year, let's say like that. But from the stock point of view, I'm doing 2-3 years ago and Forex 1 year ago.
I can tell you from my own experience, there was something that really caught my attention then when you mentioned about the market crash. You know, as I was going through university and stuff, I was always wondering, man, you know, I wish I was actually in the market at the time of the global financial crisis, just to understand what really happened, because we hear about it all the time, right? They're still making documentaries and TV shows, and what you can find so much material about what happened in 2007, which is something that lasted for a good couple of years. But we all got to see it through our own eyes through that chaos, through that few weeks in March. And okay, so you started with stocks, I understood correctly. So, yes. But you also have interest in Forex, currency pairs. So what kind of assets are really like what you would look for?
So at the moment, and taking in consideration the big volatility there is in the market at the moment, I always look at the refugium assets. So I'm always looking at gold. Silver follows gold, so also look at silver because it's much more volatile. And those types of assets for the moment and until I think in the end of the year will be good access to be on because they give a little bit of more stability. Then I'm looking at pairs and currency pairs that are very, very popular, like the Euro USDs, or even the British pound against the Japanese yen. So very regular pairs. And I've been dwelling a little bit on the cryptocurrency side of things, but not to be disconsidered, but I'm still very, very skeptic in terms of what is the room to grow there. So just browsing.
The timing of that comment is perfect because I saw it just past $18,000. You know, a lot of people are talking about it's going to hit, 100K. It's going to hit more than that. Of course, we did say that 3 years ago and it didn't happen either. Yeah. So you're right to have an air of skepticism about it. But it does seem like Bitcoin is back, and it seems like that's the crypto assets are in a all-time high this year. But That's great. Great to see that, you know, you're investing in all these different assets and you're really trying to broaden your portfolio, because I think, you know, the new investor, the 2020 type of investors, is all about diversification, knowing your risk, being able to diversify across different assets so that you're not exposed to any particular moves. And that's why I also liked your comment as well about gold and silver and some of that stability. Now let's see if those assets now remain stable for our interview. You have to check your phone, I understand, but at the moment I did check the market just before we began speaking, and things looked okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's always interesting with all the vaccines news and all the hypes that make the market move a little bit, but that's the game.
That is the name of the game altogether, and I think all of us, you know, have this smile on our faces anyway, because we're just hopeful for the vaccine. Because, you know, you're sitting in Portugal, I'm sitting in the UK. We have viewers and clients from all over the world, but everybody's faced this situation and had to deal with it in a different way. But I think a vaccine is something that can bring us all together, just to give us a bit of hope and fingers crossed, you know?
Yeah, for us in terms of Portugal, we have been severely hit because we are very dependent on tourism and hospitality services. So it has been a really, really heavy crash for us. So hopefully the vaccine will bring a little bit more smiles into Portuguese faces.
Well, I can assure you that when this is over, there'll be many British who will continue to go to Portugal. And I think after some time, it'll be like nothing's really changed with that.
That will be more than welcome here.
Thank you. So, okay, so you started as a trader, and then you like identified the copy trading systems and so on. You started looking at those. So, what was it that made you decide to autocopy?
So, I'm not a trader by profession, so it's not my professional side of things. So I have a full-time job. It does require a lot of investment of time from my behalf. And I wanted to be able to find something that was simple and profitable, and that I had the confidence to do, and I had more or less understanding of the strategy that I was implementing. With that in mind, when I found the Autocopy and I saw that there are multiple items that I could check and confirm, like the maximum withdrawal of the account of the trader, the type of tradings that he's doing. Actually, that was my first thing was, okay, this may be a good strategy to have, and that's why I started to do the Autocopy.
Okay, I think this, you know, it's a real fascinating concept that in this modern world that we're in, that there's a way that we can let our money work for us through these initiatives like copy trading and being able to, you know, look at managed accounts. And there's so many different, you know, concepts out there. And I think it's something that, you know, us millennials who, you know, the banking world has changed, our interest rates and everything about how we save. There isn't really that much we can do with our money in terms of investing, but this concept of autocopy, of course, you need to understand it, but it gives us an era of financial freedom where we can kind of let our money work for us and see how we can stretch our money rather than the more traditional forms that following the global financial crisis and following so much change to technology and different, you know, airs of change in the world, it's not as appetizing for us as what it might have been for our parents or through our, you know, other family members who come from a different time.
Sure, and the classical way before the Autocopy, in terms of what we had access, in terms of, I'm speaking for myself, would be having a fund manager, and in a bank, setting up a closed fund or setting up something that it's not very well written off, so I don't know exactly what is happening. And with Autocopy, if we do have the time to invest in learning what is being done, it's quite nice, because then I know where my money is, and if the person is doing it follows a strategy that I understand it, that I agree with, and then I think step by step a way to get more and more success in terms of the auto-copying profit. I think I agree 100% in terms of my lineal age. We are now more interested in sharing know-how, in understanding the know-how, and then that costs money. Know-how costs money. So that's a very interesting community concept that actually applies very well to generate more money. So money makes
Sure.
money,
Sure.
and the know-how is paid off.
Everybody's helping each other, and before you know it, the world's a happier place, right?
Exactly.
So okay, so you started doing the autocopy. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's many different traders on NAGA, experienced traders, people who are new to autocopy, like yourself as well. So how was it that you chose who to autocopy? Was it based on your own interests of trading, or was there something very specific that just piqued your interest?
So uh, maybe a mix of both, but mostly would be when I saw the possibility of autocopy, I started to understand which traders were on the top of the leaderboard. I spoke briefly with my account manager from NAGA, and she just ran through me all the different sides of the elements that I should be taking in consideration for understanding it. And I started to look at which markets. I started to do a little bit of, let's say, a screener of the best autocopiers, the best traders that I could autocopy. I got very lucky because I found one immediately that I still stick on for the beginning. So I actually identified a very good one in the beginning. But since from the day one until now, I've already tested 15. So I do allocate a part of my portfolio to test autocopies to see how they trade and to see if their trading fits mine. I don't mind if it gets negative balance for a moment, but I always try to look into diversifying the traders because they all operate in different markets. Yes. And not overlapping the traders. So, but that I think taking into consideration the maximum withdrawal that it's possible to have just browsing through the history of the trader, the profitability percentage for autocopies that they have, the amount of wallet that they put in each trade. I think that gives me a balance in terms of trying to choose a better trader instead of another. And it also gives me a good starting point to test one out. At the moment, for example, I can share, I'm using 3 traders. I'm using one main trader and plus 2 other smaller traders that are making me happy at the moment.
I think that's the beauty of the platform, right? It gives you so much accessibility and different options to copy somebody based on their trading strategy, or maybe you're copying somebody because they might be investing in something that could become very useful 3 to 6 months from now. Because yes. The world's always changing, and I think that's the real fascinating thing about the NAGA community is firstly it's transparent, that you can kind of see what trades are coming through the system, whether they're individual traders like yourself or just people who are setting trades for other people, for example those who are doing the autocopy. And I always find it fascinating because you get so much insight and ideas there, and there's a lot of trade. Maybe it's not something that I would trade personally, but it does go to show that every type of investor is different. Every type of investor has different needs, different wants, different ideas. And that's what makes, this community very strong.
Sure. I agree 100%. The add-on on that I didn't comment is you can dialogue through comments on their trades or even on their page. So there's also a good sense of community when you have your own trader replying and saying, okay, I'm doing this, it was a mistake, no, I am doing that. It's actually very, very, very interesting community asset.
Yeah, you can ask them, so why are you trading, why are you adding that trade? Like, what is this picture interest there? Should I follow this? Should I not follow this?
Exactly.
But it must feel good, right, to be able to have the opportunity to make money through following somebody, or make money through autocopy, or being able to maybe have this interview, but don't necessarily have to have your phone next to you checking your trades, but you have comfort that somebody's trading, on your behalf in terms of you're being able to copy somebody. And that must be quite a nice concept, right? To be able to look after your kids, or maybe go with your family to the beautiful beach that you've talked to me about, and just know that, somebody's looking after your investments, and you just the process go through.
For sure, 100%. I think the best concept, I can say it's a great feeling in terms of you look at your balance, your account balance, you look at your strategy that you're following when you have time and say, okay, everything is on check. You have more time. So part of this was I have a full-time job. The result is I have more money now than the ones that I initially started with. So it's a win-win situation. and and exactly as time goes by, and if I identify the trader that suits my type of investment and risk, uh, I grow more and more confidence with him or her, and that actually it turns in a very positive outcome, because then exactly I can go to the beach or I can be relaxed. I don't check so much my trades. I don't need to be actively there doing my trades. Um, I I do have still my monitor on the trade
Of course.
just to follow, and I'm very interested in understanding and doing also a little bit of stock marketing, but it's for sure a sense of relax when we look at it and say, okay, 20 weeks gone by and we are profitable, so it's good.
That's wonderful. I think, you touched on really nicely there. There's an element of financial freedom, but also there's some personal independence where you can still, undertake your daily activities and just kind of let things just go. You can just kind of relax and just, have some faith that, your money's doing your work around the
Please, yeah.
scenes. And
Exactly.
that's actually it from my questions today. That's a really nice topic to finish on. But I think a lot of people will be interested in our first, one of this series, the first interview. Antonio, you touched on it. You have a full-time job anyway. I think that maybe people would appreciate just knowing a bit more about Antonio. What is it that you do for your full-time work? We've already spoke about football and hobbies, but what is it that you do for your full-time work?
I have a very particular type of work. I'm an engineer for constructing public aquariums. So I'm actually between moves. I'm based in Portugal, but soon rather than later I will be moving to China
Okay.
to be 24/7 in terms of establishing in a company that builds globally public aquariums around the world. So it's one of my expertise.
Wonderful. There was two things that come into my mind then. Firstly, I heard aquarium, and I thought I must not lose Antonio any money, or he might put me in with some of those very big and nasty-looking fish. And secondly, I think that everybody on the behalf of the NAGA community as well would love to wish you good luck for your move to China. It sounds like you've got
Thank
some
you.
very interesting projects coming up. I've been to China many times, and I'm sure there's others that have been to China as well who are watching it. It's a beautiful country, and there's some really, interesting society and interesting things going on there. And I hope, wish you good luck. I
Thank
would
you
like
very
to
much, Jim.
thank you. I would love to thank you once again for taking part in our very first one of this brand new series. I hope that
It
you've
was
enjoyed
really a
it as much
pleasure.
as I've had. It's been wonderful to speak to you, Antonio. Again, good luck. Thank you for being with us. And hopefully, we're going to keep in touch and we'll keep up to date with your latest moves when you do finally manage to go to China.
Thank you very much. It was a real pleasure to be here also.
Thank you as well. Thank you.